Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. All righty. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program as we start a new chapter in our broadcasting for the first time and hopefully for a long time. We will be here at the South Point Studios live, not only video through South Point Studio TV and YouTube and other outlets, but also on our radio network at Sports Talk 1400 AM and 107.1 FM. And of course, we have our websites, racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas, .world, .global, all of that stuff, plus your phone apps, etc. We are widening the scope of the platforms delivering the Race Day show to you live and direct from Las Vegas, Nevada, here at the South Point Studios at the South Point Hotel and Casino on the fabulous Las Vegas Strip. And we welcome you to the show. On today's Race Day show, we're going to do something a little bit different since we are starting our journey here at the South Point Studios. And, of course, for the first time, you'll be able to see us and the handicappers as well. So what we're going to do on today's show, since it's a light racing day, is we're going to have all of four of our handicappers come on and talk about their background, a little bit of how they got started in racing, et cetera, including how they handicap the races, what methods they use, and, of course, betting strategies, that's what it's all about. So we're going to be a little bit different on today's show, but we will have our racing menu and of course, some updates on news, etc. So this is the Race Day Las Vegas radio program. We come to you live and direct from the gaming capital of the world. Now, talking about the weather, we usually when I'm in studio, I'll look out the window of the studio there and on the corner of Jones and Sahara and tell you what the weather is like because we have windows in the studio. Here we do have windows, but we're looking across to the race and sports book here in the studio in the middle of the sports and race book here in the South Point. So, got to tell you what the weather was like when I walked in this morning. It's cold, really. That's simple. It's cold right now here in Las Vegas. It's 43 degrees. We're going to get up to 59 today. And that is going to be kind of like the weather is. After all, we're getting into wintertime. We're just a few days away from December, for goodness sakes. But as far as the weather around the country, where the racing will be conducted live on the racetracks, got a little bit of weather going on in Central California. Good thing that there's no racing in Southern California today. And, of course, the Gulf Coast is clear, and the East Coast, the Atlantic Coast, is clear. But I understand that we had a lot of snow in New York. I can't wait to get to Jonathan Hardun to talk about that. So a lot of snow there in New York today, but there's no racing at Aqueduct either. It's a very small schedule of racetracks today across the country, so the racing should be good no matter what, that's for sure. Taking a look at what happened just on Sunday when we were last on the air, Bob Baffert won the Native Diver Stakes at Del Mar with Mr. Fisk. Juan Hernandez aboard paying $8.40. That was a selection on this show from John Lindo, so we congratulate John for that. And, of course, Rich Eng also came with a winner on the show, and that was in the 7th race, just before that 8th race. That winner, Lakota Spirit, paid $5.20, so you got a little race day rolling double out of that at Del Mar on Sunday. At Churchill Downs, had a really nice stakes race, and believe it or not, they ran it on the turf. Now, they were talking about taking the rest of the races off the turf at Churchill Downs up until the closing on Sunday, but they kept the stakes race, the big race, the Commonwealth turf on the turf. And Gigante wins that for Luan Machado, paying $22.06 for trainer Steve Asmussen on a closing day at Churchill Downs, and now they're moving over to Turfway Park. At Aqueduct, the Big A on Sunday, boy, we had a monster payoff in the early pick 5. Prices of the horses, $68.50 in the first race got it started. Then you had a $9 winner, a $5.80 winner, a $4.80 winner. And the last race, the fifth race in the sequence of the early pick five, paid $95 even. So you had two gigantic prices at the beginning and the end of the early pick five. And that 50-cent pickup five, the 50-cent pick five at Aqueduct on Sunday, $87,944.75. How about that? Pretty good, huh? And the pick six was not hit. So when racing resumes tomorrow at Aqueduct, there'll be a pick six carryover. 5 out of 6 paid $5,118.50. And if you think the early pick five paid a lot, the late pick five at Aqueduct on Sunday, with winners of $95, that same $95 horse started out the late pick five and ended up the early pick five. So that was a pivotal horse in making the big payoffs. Then $15.40, $13.80, $24.40, and $13.80. It was hard to get those numbers together, and I don't know who did it, but the 50-cent pick five at Aqueduct paid $236,603.75. I got to believe that was an all-burger in that one. Wow. Well, play your lucky numbers if nothing else. At Woodbine, Ernie Perry had a third-place finisher in the seventh race. And at Golden Gate on Sunday, racing just conducted as usual. So that's what happened at over the weekend on Sunday in the racing. Well, we're going to get started on this one by going to our first break. When we come out of our first break, we'll go ahead and give you the racing menu for today, and then we'll get started with Jonathan Hardun, Rich Eng, John Lendo, and Jerry Jackowitz, all going to be with us to talk about racing, to talk about this new venture with the South Point studio, etc. So we'll be right back after this break. Don't go away. We're here at the South Point Studios live here on the South Point Studio TV and Sports Talk 1400 AM.
Want to bet your favorite horse but can't make it to the racebook? South Point Casino's Racebook has the answer. Come in and sign up for the Nevada Racebook mobile app. For just a $50 minimum deposit, you'll have the racebook right at your fingertips, no matter where you are in Nevada. It's convenient, fun, and easy to use. When you do have time to visit, South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. Whether you want to come in or play from the comfort of your home, South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
The racing is fast and exciting at the picturesque Woodbine and Woodbine Mohawk Park racetracks in Ontario, Canada. Woodbine Standardbred, home of the Pepsi North America Cup, a summer classic.
Pebble Beach in Iran.
And Woodbine Thoroughbred, home of the historic King's Plate.
But the mighty filly has devastated them.
Full fields, exotic wagers, iconic events. Play Woodbine Thoroughbred and Woodbine Standardbred today at your favorite wagering location.
Formulator from DRF.com is the exclusive past performance content provider for the Race Day Las Vegas show.
All righty, back on the Race Day Las Vegas radio program. Got to tell you, this is one hell of a studio here at this South Point, that's for sure. And there are plenty of shows yet to come on this network as well. So make sure you get that on your favorites list on your internet. It's southpointstudio.tv. Later on today at noon, the Punchline Show, and this is a great show. This guy is so funny, Frank Nicotero. You gotta just tune in for him. It's really a lot of fun, and they talk, of course, about sports betting, etc. And as we do on this show, especially with our man Rich Ang, who is standing by, we'll tap him a little bit as well later on. Real quick, a review of the cluster of equine fatalities, I should say, that occurred at Laurel Park in Maryland last winter and spring did not turn up a single cause for the spat. Now, this is according to the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority on Tuesday. This is their report. So what they're saying is the HISA is out there trying to figure out why, you've got breakdowns at racetracks, and they can't figure it out because, simply put, in horse racing, horses are athletes. Athletes get hurt. It's really that simple. You can try as best as you can to make sure that the racetracks are safe, to make sure that the racing conditions are safe, to make sure that the jockeys comply and don't do anything that would cause an injury or danger other horses and other jockeys. And you can make sure that the trainers aren't using the illegal drugs, but that's about all you could do. Horse racing is a sense of, competition. Sports competition is really that simple. That's for sure. And in other news, real quick, I believe at Tampa Bay, Jockey Morales is recovering from a broken left wrist. This jock has been really caught in a lot of bad luck this year, but he was attempting to work out a horse, and the horse flipped on him in the morning, and so he'll be out of action for a while. Got to tell you, Gulfstream Park is going to be starting their championship meet coming up soon, and Oaklawn Park is right around the corner in December. We're going to have a lot of fun with Oaklawn Park. And believe it or not, Turfway Park, where Richie Eng and myself spent time, certainly over the years. Turfway Park has really come up now. Turfway Park, believe it or not, they have the second highest field sizes in the nation at their racetracks. Now, you're talking about the small fields maybe in Southern California or other places, but Turfway Park's got a lot of great horses, a lot of horse stock, I should say, and it's going to be a lot of fun watching the races there. So why don't we do this? Let's go to the menu of racetracks available today in the race books, the simulcast centers and racetracks around the country. I want to remind you folks that the first post times we broadcast on this menu each and every racing day reflect that of the Pacific time zone, because that's where we're at here in Las Vegas. We are in the Pacific time zone, and these will be the first post times that'll roll out in our race book here at South Point today. Therefore, we are Race Day Las Vegas, and we know that we cover the world on so many platforms that we have, that we know we're in so many different time zones. So if you're in another time zone, adjust to the Pacific time zone, which these first start times will be, so you don't miss anything like I miss Mom and Dad, okay? Here we go. We begin with Parks Racing. Parks Racing today has the first post time of 9:05 with 10 races, and they have a pick six carryover, $26,594. Jonathan Hardun has already explained to us the two pick five carryovers in the jackpot they have. The second one is always an estimate in case the first one. I don't know how they do it, but the pick five carryover today starts out, the pick five jackpot carryover at Parks Racing, $26,594, and you got a 10-race card at Parks today. Then we go to Tampa Bay Downs. Now, Tampa Bay Downs starts at 9:20. 9:20 this morning at Tampa Bay. They got a couple of carryovers. Their Tampa Bay's Super High 5 carryover, $1,197, and their Pick 6 Jackpot carryover, $4,275. That at Tampa Bay today. They've got 9 races there. First post time, 9:20 at Tampa Bay. Then we go to Mahoning Valley. Mahoning Valley Racecourse has 9 races today, and Mahoning Valley's first post time is at 9:45 at Mahoning Valley. Following that, we got Turfway Park. Turfway Park, as we said, full fields, and you can see them. If you see the 9-race card today, they're overflow, full fields all, with also eligibles. The race card has 9 races on it at Turfway. First post time is 2:55 Pacific time, 2:55 for the start of Turfway Park. Next comes Penn National. We call it Penn Nat. Penn National's first post time for their 7-race card is at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. first post at Penn National. And then following that, we've got Delta Downs. Delta Downs, 8 races, 3:05. First post time at Delta Downs. Charlestown with a pick 6 jackpot carryover today of $86,284. Wow. 8 races, first post time at Charlestown, 4 p.m. And then you'll have Remington Park. Remington Park is underway, as we call it, Remington. Their first post time for 8 races is 5:05, and that is your racing menu for today. I want to thank you all for that. All right, let's do this. Might as well bring in our first guest Skyping away, and that is, of course, Jonathan Hardun. Good morning, Jonathan.
What a nice day today is, and it's the maiden voyage of the new show. It's going to be great.
Jonathan, you're looking good, buddy. You're all right. But, of course, we're on early here, as you know. But with a 3-hour difference, you had time to spruce up and get ready, didn't you?
I love it. It's great. It's the only time I get an edge over you, Ralph.
Yeah, that's right. Believe me, a lot of people get an edge over me when it comes to that. But in any case, we're starting this new venture now. They can see us and all that stuff there, and on the South Point TV network. This thing's going to build it. It's going to get great, believe me, because they got great information for sports betting, and now they'll have the information for horse racing, courtesy of our handicappers on our show. Jonathan, because we're coming for the first time on this network, and although some of the people who listen to us on the radio may know a little bit more about you guys than the guys that are watching us for the first time, I still want to go over a little bit of the background, et cetera, even for the people who listen at home. Your background, to get you here, what your background?
Yeah, well, I've been involved in horse racing since I guess I was a kid. My father was a legend, actually, in New York racing as far as gambling is concerned. He was one of the high rollers. He was an original Ragozin sheet player. They had an original 5, and I started working for the company over 40 years ago. I do daily Zoom seminars. I travel all over the country giving seminars on how to read the sheets. The Ragozin sheets are a powerful tool. It's used by owners, trainers, gamblers, jockey agents, and very highly respected. And, Ragozin was the father of figures. He passed away a few years ago, but the legend lives on.
Now, Jonathan, when you're talking about Ragozins, like in sports, they have, power ratings, et cetera. Is it something like that?
It's a speed figures. Yeah, we assign every horse in every race a number that has run, and first-time starters we don't give numbers to because you need to have some information on the horse. So we're up against it when it comes to firsters. However, there are other ways around it. You use clocker reports, breeding, and whatever. Right? Use breeding, everything else. Yeah, you watch trips, you watch the workouts. Nowadays, everybody has access. I mean, XB Select, whatever. You can go watch the workouts every day if you want to just get your own opinion on how they're working. And a lot of information out there. You have to know you have to decide what works for you, and you have to stick to it.
All right. Now, obviously, your introduction to racing was through family and generations, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My father used to take me and my brother to the track when we were little kids and tell me we were going to the circus. He'd sit us out in the grandstand, buy us a bag of M&Ms. And when we got home, I said, Ma, we went to the circus, but all the animals had numbers on them. So we couldn't figure it out. But
yeah, I bet your mom did, though. Mom did, though, right?
Yeah, she knew right away.
All right, do me a favor, if you could stay right there, as you move. When you move into the, you're breaking up a little when you move in your voice, anyhow. So we'll just keep you right there. How's that?
Okay,
good.
I'm not moving.
Don't move. All right. In any case, so your principles of handicapping is really with those speed figures, right? Do you put anything else, a personal touch in it when you handicap a race and you make a decision for a pick?
Yeah, well, numbers certainly are majority of it. However, you also have other ingredients that go into you're making some sort of dish or a souffle, whatever it is, and you use different components and different ingredients to come up with your final answer. The name of the game is value. You always have to look for value. You're not going to be as right quite as often, but when you're right, you're going to get rewarded. And the idea is to always look for value. Listen, I add in other things. Trainers are extremely important to me. When you get trainer changes, it's important. When you have jockey changes, it's important. But for the most part, it's the numbers, and I start with the numbers and I work around those.
Now, equating to trainers, that would be like handicapping coaches in football, right?
Exactly. It's the first time if a horse is going to move from a low profile barn to a high profile, there are obvious trainer changes that everyone's going to see and jump on, but you want the subtle changes where a guy is a little better or just better than the guy that had him. You're going to get a little bit of an edge, and hopefully, obvious trainer changes. When a horse goes first time for Pletcher or for Baffert, the whole world sees it. You're not fooling anybody.
Right.
But when you get a subtle change, that's when you have an opportunity to make some money.
Now, important. We are trying to equate betting on horses and betting on sports. Now, we know what the sports is. You make a bet on sports, you usually have to lay $11 to win 10. In horse racing, you don't see that what they call a takeout or the VIG, because the takeout is hidden because it's a pari-mutuel pool. Everybody's in there, they take the takeout, and then they chop up the rest depending on the odds of the horse to win the race. But value is always in horse racing because you can get, just as I did at the top of the show with those huge payoffs and pick fives, you can get a whole lot more than 11 to 10.
Yeah, you bet. Listen, let's be honest. I know we're doing this from the South Point, and obviously sports betting is important and everything else. But when you're betting a sporting event, you're really betting a 4 to 5 shot. And, you have 3 hours of torture, and you got to wait till the last 2 minutes to see if a team scores so the game stays under or goes over. And, a team could be up by 22 points in basketball. Everyone's leaving, but you're glued to the TV because you laid 24 points. It never ends in sports. Whereas horse racing, in a minute, 10 seconds, it's over with. You turn the page, you move on to the next game or race, whatever it is.
Sure.
I prefer, obviously, horse racing. I'll bet sporting events, if I want to sit back and watch a game and relax after a hard day at the track, but honestly, I think horse racing, if you're gambling, horse racing is the game to play.
And, of course, to be perfectly honest, to be balanced here, in football or any other sporting event of teams, you have one team against the other, so all you have to do is beat the other team. In horse racing, you might have
50,
to be
50.
Yeah, you might
Seven
have to
or
be
8 other horses.
Yeah,
Right.
but you're getting rewarded for it.
Yeah, but you're not going to bet 50 cents on sporting event and win 236,000
No,
like you could have possibly done on Sunday at Aqueduct. Obviously it's not happening. You could go forever and not hit it, but the opportunity was there.
All right, we got it, my man. Now, that's the difference between sports betting and horse racing betting. Value. You're looking for value all the time. Got to ask you now, you'll be on our shows most of the time because you concentrate your handicapping on the New York circuit, the California circuit, and then a lot in either Florida, sometimes in Kentucky with Churchill Downs, et cetera, and some on special days with big races at racetracks, correct?
Right. We'll definitely do stakes from out of town on, even if we don't do the track, like I don't do fairgrounds, for example, but on their big day, I'll handicap the big races at fairgrounds. So.
Okay. And real quick, before I let you go, best memory in racing.
Oh, I had millions of them. The most recent one was a few years ago. I got the opportunity to go to the Kentucky Derby. Cyberknife, who my son picked out for Gold Square. He works for Gold Square. He manages their stable. And we got to go to the Derby, and I got to make that walk from the paddock to,
the Derby walk.
From
wow.
the barn. Yeah, that was exciting. And you wait your whole life for an opportunity like that. And I was fortunate enough to be invited to join the team 2 years ago, and it was a lot of fun.
All right. We all know that everybody has an opinion of a GOAT in sports. What is your GOAT in horse racing?
Horse or trainer or jockey?
Horse. What's your GOAT horse?
Horse? Well, obviously, Secretariat.
All right.
I love Forgel, though. Forgel got me in love with the game when I was a kid watching him. He used to come from dead last,
Oh, yeah.
carrying all this weight, and he was really exciting. And recently, Flightline.
Yeah.
Flightline, was the closest thing I remember to Secretariat.
I will bet at the end of the show that'll be a consensus answer by the other handicappers. I want to thank you so much, Jonathan, for being on the show today. We start tomorrow back with the handicapping and all that stuff, but I wanted especially the new listeners and new viewers out there to get a shot at our stable of handicappers that are important to me, because you guys do the work, you work hard, and you bet what you say, and that's what I like. Thanks a lot, Jonathan.
Right.
All right.
Thank you, Ralph. Stay safe and be well.
All right, you got it, my man. We're going to be back, and the next guy up is Rich Eng, so don't go away. We'll be right back after this break.
Racing is fast and exciting at the picturesque Woodbine and Woodbine Mohawk Park racetracks in Ontario, Canada. Woodbine Standardbred, home of the Pepsi North America Cup, a summer classic.
Pebble Beach in Iran.
And Woodbine Thoroughbred, home of the historic King's Plate.
But the mighty filly has devastated them.
Full fields, exotic wagers, iconic events. Play Woodbine Thoroughbred and Woodbine Standardbred today at your favorite wagering location.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. We now go out to, a man who's wearing a shirt that tells you where he's from and where he's at today, Rich Eng. Richie, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie. I just want to start off my segment by saying this seems like a Back to the Future moment for you, because if I remember correctly, when you first started Race Day Las Vegas show, it was supposed to be a television show, wasn't it?
It was a television show, and it was a television show for about 6 weeks, and then the television station in this town decided to go Hispanic, and it was adios for me. So we turned it into a successful radio show that started in 1996, and we've been here, and now we're back on the air with our same sponsor that we had in 1996, Michael Gahn, and, of course, here at the South Point. This is exciting because they're going to do a lot of great things with this studio and with this building a network that's going to be really good for players and people, the regular guy, that's for sure. Richie, of course, you had a chance to take a look at what Jonathan had to say. So tell us a little bit about you and I, however. I will preface this. You and I have worked together. As a matter of fact, you were on the staff at Garden State Park that made a decision to hire me as the track announcer back in 1985 there, and we've been friends ever since, and we've worked at racetracks together ever since, from there to Turfway Park that's, running now, et cetera. And we both landed here in Las Vegas. So give them a little bit of a background of Rich Eng.
Well, real quick, believe it or not, Ralph, my career originally looked like I was going to be in banking. And at an early age, I made a decision in my life that I wanted to do something different, and preferably in sports. So I went to St. John's University out in Long Island to get a degree in sports administration. And from there, I did an internship at Aqueduct Racetrack in the winter of 1979, in the January, February, March. And they hired me, thank goodness, after my internship was over. And it started 7 years of working in the publicity department at NYRA, which is Aqueduct Belmont Park in Saratoga. Then I went down to Garden State Park in 1985, and that's where you and I connected at the new Garden State Park in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And I am very proud to say I was on the committee that selected you to be our track announcer and hired you, and I'm proud of that fact. It was one of the first right decisions I ever made in my life, Ralph. And
Wow.
well, we've had a long personal and professional relationship since. From there, I've been in publicity. I ran the publicity department at Turfway Park for 7 years in Florence, Kentucky.
Yep.
I was PR director at Santa Anita Park for 3 years in the early 90s. And I did work at Arlington Park for a couple of years as their marketing and publicity director there. But then my career took a change. In fact, you helped me in this, but I moved to Vegas in 1998 to be the turf editor and handicapper for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, a job which I held for 20 years and retired a few years ago. And recently what I do now is I work for the Daily Racing Forum. I'm actually a distribution manager of the Las Vegas office, which takes care of all the casinos in Nevada, including Tahoe and Reno, and also down in Arizona. So pace has slowed down a little bit, but I spent 20 years on the front side. Now I spent 20 years on the other side, so to speak, and it's been a great 4 or 5 decades in horse racing, Ralph.
Two things I want to mention that you didn't is, number one, you are author of a book that everybody who's a newbie, and especially the new people who are sports bettors that are watching this show today, that they have to get for the basic principles of how to play and enjoy the races, and that book is?
Betting on Horse Racing for Dummies, second edition. And make sure you inquire about second edition. The first edition was written in 2004. It came out in the spring of 2005.
Yep.
I wrote the second edition in 2022. It came out right about Christmas time last year. And, one of the things I'm most proud about, Ralph, is that Dummies books are a tremendous brand. I mean, I think most people have a Dummies book in their library of some subject matter because it takes a subject that you know nothing about, takes you by the hand from step one, from A to Z. Mm-hmm. And so we were able to do that for horse racing. And the fact that I wrote a second edition is a compliment to horse racing because it showed there was enough interest in horse racing and enough books sold that they wanted an updated version.
That's right. And I got a whole library full of dummy books, that's for sure. It covers all the subjects for me.
Me too.
Real quick, Richie, you, like I said, you also are a pretty astute handicapper of sports, and you do make sports selections on our show, especially during the football season. So we want to remind everybody that's listening to this network that we do have a little bit of a sports handicapper with us as well. I'll wrap this up real quick by asking you, when you handicap, et cetera, your betting strategy.
Well, I heard Jonathan talking about how he attacks a horse race, and it's kind of like he's a cook in a kitchen, and it's a recipe, and you put all the ingredients together and come up with a nice, delicious finished product. In my book, Betting on Horse Racing for Dummies, second edition, the way I wrote about attacking a race is I called it a puzzle. And each horse is a piece of that puzzle. And what you're trying to do is put the puzzle together and try to see how it fits and try to, kind of prognosticate how the race is going to be run. And so, that's how I basically attack almost every race, Ralph. I look for who's going to be the speed, who's going to be the stalkers, who's going to be the closers. And obviously, to simplify it for your fans out there and our fans, is that if you see a race loaded up with a lot of speed horses, then I will tend to look for a closer or a stalker. In reverse, if there's lone speed, I consider that one of the better bets in horse racing. And, I would play a horse like that who might have a soft lead.
And, of course, when you talk about a lot of speed horses in a race, it causes a meltdown between the horses that sets it up for a horse coming from behind. And that lone speed you're talking about gets a horse out there just galloping along, and they can never catch them. So those are two key handicapping elements that you have a basis with when you look at any race to handicap them. And your handicapping for Southern California racing is on our website, racedaylasvegas.com, every racing day. I want to remind everybody about that. All right, best memory.
God, my best memory. Geez, I've had so many of them. I think a part of my career that I actually had not mentioned, but I wrote about in the book, was for about 7 or 8 years, I worked with ABC Sports and ESPN on their horse racing telecast. And I had an opportunity to work 3 Triple Crowns where it came down to the final leg, and I think the most exciting moment that I've ever seen was when Real Quiet was trying to win the Triple Crown for Bob Baffert. And if folks remember that Belmont Stakes, Real Quiet and Victory Gallop came to the wire in almost a dead heat, and the crowd was just in an absolute uproar. And when they put the number up of Victory Gallop, there was like a hush in the crowd. But that was as exciting a moment as I remember in my horse racing life.
It's one of the most exciting moments still for anybody, that's for sure. Horse goat.
I'm sorry, again?
Your horse goat.
My horse. Oh, geez. You know what? I probably go back to a horse that got me hired in horse racing, Ralph. 1979. The reason they brought me on after the internship was because Spectacular Bid was going for the Triple Crown in the Belmont Stakes. And then the next year, as a 4-year-old, he had maybe the greatest season in the modern era of any older horse. I tell you what, Spectacular Bid. Well, it's. I know it's blasphemous to not say Secretariat, but what I saw on Spectacular Bid was pretty special.
His trainer, Buddy Delp, famous line of all time, the greatest horse that ever looked through a bridle. Remember when he said that?
Oh, yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, Rich. Appreciate it, and of course, you're part of the team, so we'll be getting with you tomorrow for. We got a football pick tomorrow. It's Thursday, and by the way, I got to get your thoughts about our UNLV football team, which will be playing in the Mountain West Championship against Boise State for the first time in history. Our football team has made a championship, run. That's for sure. Thanks a lot, Rich. All right, we'll be right back with more on the Race Day Show. Following this comes, hopefully, John Lindo. Don't go away.
Want to bet your favorite horse but can't make it to the racebook? South Point Casino's Racebook has the answer. Come in and sign up for the Nevada Racebook mobile app. For just a $50 minimum deposit, you'll have the Racebook right at your fingertips, no matter where you are in Nevada. It's convenient, fun, and easy to use. When you do have time to visit, South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our Racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. Whether you want to come in or play from the comfort of your home, South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Alrighty, we continue now on Race Day Las Vegas, introducing all of the folks here at the South Point StudioTV.com listenership and viewership, our stable of handicappers. So we have a stable, and it's a stable of handicappers. And right now, we're going to go to John Lindo standing by. John, good morning. We got to get John up there so I can hear him. Okay. Small technical difficulty, and we'll get it squared away. In the meantime, I want to remind everybody we'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time for our usual show that will have these handicappers handicapping some of the races. Can we get John now? I know I could see you, John. And I know you can see me. Yeah. The thing is, I'd love to hear you. Okay. In any case, why don't I do this? Since I can't hear you, John, but I'm going to ask you the same question I asked everybody else while they work on the sound for me. You can go ahead and tell everybody your background in horse racing. We can't hear him? Okay, it's not coming through. You got a button there, John, maybe? Or I see a little speaker on my screen that's crossed out, so maybe it's got something to do here over here. All right. While we wait to get this squared away with John, let me give you a little bit of what's going to be going on. It's going to be going on this week as far as horse racing is concerned. We got coming up on the 30th of November. We got a couple of races at Mountaineer, Moon Valley. Actually, Moon Valley will have a couple of $75,000 stakes races. But coming up on Saturday, December the 2nd, it's a biggie at Aqueduct Racetrack. 3 graded stakes races, make it 4 graded stakes races. You have the Cigar Mile at a flat mile, 500,000. This is a good race, always has been a good race, 3-year-olds and up. We got the Damoiselle for 2-year-old fillies, at 250,000. We got the Go for Juan Stakes, a grade 3 for 200,000 for 3-year-olds and up fillies and mares, and the Remsen for 2-year-olds. And this is a race that has produced a lot of times contenders for the next year's Kentucky Derby. So you want to take a look at that. The Remsen is also. So Aqueduct will have 4 graded stakes races on the Saturday card. Del Mar will continue with its Hollywood Turf Festival, including the Hollywood Derby, a grade 1 on the turf for 3-year-olds. The Jimmy Durante, as they continue with the Bob Hope meet there, and races named after all the great stars of the past. The Jimmy Durante, a grade 3 on the turf, and the Stormy Liberal. That'll all come up on Saturday. Fairgrounds is going to have a whole bunch of races. It's the Claiming Crown Day at Fairgrounds. All the horses that come to work with their lunch pail in their hand get a shot at the big bucks at the Fairgrounds. The Claiming Crown will have many different races, of course, for each division in horse racing. The Claiming Crown at Fairgrounds. Golden Gate will step in with the Gold Rush Stakes. And then, of course, Gulfstream Park will start their championship meeting with the Florida Sire Stakes, the In Reality for 2-year-old colts and geldings, and the My Dear Girl for the 2-year-old fillies. And of course, Laurel Park, they'll kick in with the Maryland Juvenile and the Maryland Juvenile fillies. So we have a lot. And, of course, Woodbine will host the Clarendon and the Shady Wells. This is all coming up on Saturday. Did we get the sound figured out? He's not connected. Maybe you ought to try to get back. Maybe that'll help. We might want to. Okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break that we're not scheduled to do, but we'll just take a break and play a commercial and come right back.
Movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. Whether you want to come in or play from the comfort of your home, South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Formulator from DRF.com is the exclusive past performance content provider for the Race Day Las Vegas show.
All righty. Well, we're back on race day. We're trying to reconnect with John Lindo. All I can say is this, folks, that believe it or not, this show's been going along pretty smoothly considering all of the elements we had to put together to try to get this to happen this way. But our handicapper, John Lindo, by the way, want to remind everybody, John Lindo's handicapping sheet, the Lindo Report, is available here only at the South Point free of charge. Again, the Lindo Report covering Southern California racing, and he does do big tracks at other times of the year. He did a lot of Lindo reports for Keeneland. He did the whole Keeneland meet. He did Churchill Downs on the big days, and he will concentrate on days at racetracks that have a mandatory payoff with a big pick 6 jackpot carryover. Now, John Lindo's Lindo Report covers all the races each racing day in Southern California. Right now, it's for Del Mar. And then, of course, he has a suggested pick 4 that you can play, the 50-cent pick 4 for the late 4 races on the Southern California card. And by the way, he's hit that quite a few times on the sheet. And he also has a lot of goody information at the bottom, like the jockey trends and all these other things that may happen. All that is condensed on the bottom of the sheet. It's one full comprehensive sheet. You can play it. You can get it only at one place. One place here in Las Vegas at the South Point Racebook. It is free of charge to you, complimentary, because this place, like no other place, loves horse players. That's for sure. Are we reconnected with John yet? Or maybe we can get Jerry Jackowitz along with us. In any case, I want to remind everybody that we are on from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Can you hear me, John? Yeah, he can hear me. We just can't hear him. You might, you got your volume up and all that stuff there, Johnny boy? Okay, he's got everything going. All right, anyhow, as we continue with the snafus in technology, and believe me, folks, my technology, I'm just getting used to color TV, so you know where I'm at as far as technology is concerned. But John Lindo, of course, will be with us each and every racing day as well. Sometimes he's at his domicile, sometimes he's here in Vegas, and sometimes he'll be right here on the set with us, that's for sure. And so we will we'll wait for that, and maybe we'll see if we can get Jerry Jackowitz showing up here. Jerry will also be with us. And now, Jerry Jackowitz, of course, his sheet is jerryjspowerpage.com, and he does almost the same thing as like Jonathan Hardun does with doing it with speed ratings and speed numbers. However, he also has specialties that he has. Like he calls his horses that he think are going to run big in horse racing in the race that he's handicapping with a star. He calls them the star horses. Then he'll look for horses that have big value, like big morning line prices that he really thinks could either hit the board or win the race. He'll call them the V horses. And of course, the P horses, I know this is confusing, but until we can get John on board, his P horses are potential pop-out keys. And so his sheets, jerryjspowerpage.com, is available there. And as I say, all of our handicappers on this show, and I've been doing this all my lifetime. I am 71 years old, so I've been doing this all my lifetime. I can tell you this, that the stable of handicappers that we have on the Race Day show are handicappers that have a long reputation for being good, honest, solid handicappers. Not going to pick a winner every race, but they are solid handicappers. And they bet what they say, and their handicapping sheets are very good. They give us a lot of winners over the year, that's for sure. And I guess we're still waiting for either Jerry or do we have Jerry on the line? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, they reached out to Jerry, and he's having some problems. He's in New York, I understand, though. So if we don't get Jerry and John, then we're going to wrap up this show in about 5 minutes anyhow. But in any case, these are the handicappers. Jonathan Hardun, that you saw and heard. Rich Ang, that you saw and heard. John Lindo, that you can get his sheet here, and you will see and hear him certainly tomorrow. And Jerry Jackowitz, who you will see and hear as well. These guys get together. What they do is they'll come on the show. We'll converse a little bit about racing, especially current events. For example, if horses did a great performance the day before or something, we'll emphasize that for you so you have a chance to watch these races on replay and or watch these horses in their next race for the future and their possibilities of being something really good. And of course, and then we'll get to the picks on each and racing day. Now, of course, our racing menu features the racetracks that are available here at the South Point Racebook across the nation that you can play here at the South Point Racebook. The racing menu each day starts with the earliest post times and goes through the entire list to the latest post times. That's how we present them to you for post times in succession. So you know what's going on with that. And, of course, you can play them here. I want to remind everybody, too, that the South Point here has a great phone app for horse racing. They have a great horse racing phone app. I use it a lot. And for more information on that, you could stop by the Racebook here at the South Point, talk to Steve, the Racebook manager, Steve Johnson. Great guy, great place. These people understand and know horse racing, and they are players themselves. So it's one of the greatest places that I know of, besides the racetrack or your couch with the phone app that you can have. That's for sure here at the South Point. And another thing that's good about the South Point, and I want to emphasize this, is the fact that the race and sports book are separate, but they're close. In other words, they're back to back, which means that all the screaming and yelling and rooting that's going to go on in the sports book on football Sundays and special events, and what's happening in the race book will not bleed over into one another. But if you want to find out what's going on, you can get up out of your seat in the race book and just walk right on over. It's a few steps, and you can see and hear it all. They designed it right, back to back. So all the screaming and yelling is on one side, all the screaming and yelling, in case a guy's trying to hit a $200,000 pick five, is on the other side in the race book. It has a big, beautiful race book. It's well lit. The TV sets, they're individual TV sets in front of every one of the seats. And like I said, the ticket writers know how to write tickets. It's a very, very great place to be and play because they understand horse players to the 10th power. No doubt about it. And, of course, John Lindo's report is here. And you can get your phone app. Remember, you can get your phone app if you live in Las Vegas or you're visiting Las Vegas. If you're here for the weekend, as long as you're within the state of Nevada, you can open up a phone betting app for the horse racing and play the races while you're here. So in case you want to go out, and see one of the things like a volcano or what the heck ever is out there, you may not want to miss a race. You don't have to. You can get the phone app here at the South Point. And one final thing I want to mention for sure is the South Point has great rooms. If you think this place is not on the Strip, so the rooms might be less than what's on the Strip, you would be dead wrong. That's the first bad beat bet you'll make. The rooms are great here. It's a beautiful facility, well-functioned, clean, and the restaurants, every one of the restaurants, every one is great, no doubt about that. All right, we're going to wrap up the Race Day show. Sorry we didn't get John Lindo or Jerry Jackowitz on, but we will in the future. And we want to remind you to join us at 7 o'clock in the morning here every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for your shot, your dose of horse racing. That's for sure. Ralph Siraco from the South Point Studios and through Sports Talk 1400 AM saying, as Jerry would often say, you have a great race day, everybody.